Hi, good morning, and welcome to our session. I'm Carol, here from Sunset Learning Institute. Welcome. I'm here with John Miersma, our specialist in collaboration enterprise cloud. John, thank you so much for joining us and teaching and expanding our knowledge. I will launch a very quick poll right now. Please help us replying so we can know a little bit more about yourselves and how we can guide these sessions to stay until the end of the session, that we do have a special promotion and some gifts for you. Thank you. John, all yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is John Miersma, and I want to welcome you. Thanks for coming to spend some time with us. And what I want to do is, as a collaboration administrator, I use AI daily. I use AI for all kinds of things. And so I'm sure you might as well. And I just want to take some time to talk about SIP, the protocol that's used extensively in collaboration, whether it be on-prem with Unified Communications Manager, whether it be with Webex, phones, video units, all these devices speak SIP. And so I wanted to show you here's what I do with AI. Hopefully there's something there that you can take with you. Maybe I show you something new. Maybe it can enhance what you're already doing, plant some seeds. But that's what it is, just an opportunity to work through some scenarios. We've got Webex, we've got Cube, we've got SIP scenarios. We'll work through it. We'll run traces. We'll pull Wireshark. We'll use Cisco Collaboration. So a bunch of tools. And then how AI fits in that, or some of the things that I use AI to make my administrative life easier, and hopefully you as well. So I have three things that I want to do. I want to show you how I learn with AI, how I troubleshoot with AI, and then how I build with AI. Now, obviously, there are many AI products out there, and people come to me often. Hey, do you use this or that? I don't. I'm just going to be using plain old chat. That's it. I have a subscription, $20 a month. I think it's one of the best things as an administrator that I spend my money on. But obviously, your mileage is going to vary with whatever AI you use. And this seems to fit my function. Maybe I've just kind of changed towards how chat works, but it serves its purpose for me. But yeah, there's a lot of different tools out there. So the first thing I want to do, recently I attended for the first time Cisco Live, and hopefully you've had an opportunity to go. If you haven't, it's fantastic. Learn a ton. But one thing I was really impressed with were the presenters. A lot of times, the Cisco Live presenters, they'd have 150 slides, and they'd go through that in an hour. I mean, just smooth, precise. They got it down. I don't have that many to go through, but I want to go through a few. And I want to keep it moving, just like I learned or watched them do at Cisco Live, because time is valuable. But I do want to touch base on what SIP is. One thing I never like to do is just assume everyone is on the same place. Some of you might be brand new at SIP, and that's part of what our class is about. You don't have to be an expert. In fact, it's for anyone who works with SIP and wants to know more about how it works with Cisco Collaboration, Cubes. But what is it? What does it do? We're going to take just a very quick overview of it so we're all on the same page. You have user agent clients. They send requests. And those requests are in capital letters. Easy to spot. The server is the device that sends the response. And those are numerical. And so knowing that SIP is based on HTTP sends requests and it sends responses. It's almost identical. It's based on it. SIP is based on HTTP. Very similar. Now, for instance, here's a list of requests. We have many requests. They're all in capital letters, but when you make a phone call with SIP, you send an invite. When you hang up, you send a buy request. When your phone registers, you send a register request. So SIP devices, clients, send these requests. You could use one of the first things that what I used to do is I would go search the web and say, find a list of, because you can, these requests are out there everywhere. But you could also use AI. You could just pop it in and say, provide a list of SIP, or maybe you want to know what a particular, like what is a SIP refer request, and is it legal in my state, or and you can just find out, like, what does this do? What is it for? So AI is a great tool for just answering some of those questions. I don't know about you, but I find sometimes I get answers to things and then I don't think about it for a few weeks or months, or some time passes and I'm like, oh, I don't remember. What does that do again? And I gotta go look it up. So it's always open, it's always available, can remind me. Here's another thing that I like to do. So let's say that, what is the SIP options request? Sometimes if I really need to, I say, provide a learning analogy. It's one of my prompts I like to do. And then it's going to give me an analogy, which is, as an instructor, right? You want to explain things. It's always helpful to get a new perspective. Sometimes the analogies are ridiculous. Sometimes they're spot on. Sometimes they help me think. So I never use AI as a tool to do my job. I heard it, somebody said once, and I kind of like it. He said, AI is not going to take our jobs. People that use AI are. And I thought, wow, that's kind of powerful, because I think AI is a force multiplier. It helps me do my job better, but I never mistake that it's going to just do it. I never think, oh, everything I get from this is perfect. It's a tool. It gives me a perspective. It gives me options. Here's an analogy. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't, but I never just go copy, paste, use it. Because you can always tell, you can usually tell pretty quickly when something is completely AI. But nevertheless, can be a great provide a learning analogy. It's one of the things I like to do. So you get these responses. So you have requests, and I need to change my header up top. Responses. These are not requests. These are the 100, 200, 300. 100s are informational. Hey, I got your request. I'm working on it. 200s are success. Just like in HTTP, when you go to a website, you get a 200, okay, here's your data. Oh, thank you. 300s are redirections. Proxies send those. Sometimes you're redirected when you try to sign in or register. Client. This is the big key to me about SIP, is when there's a problem, I want to look at these SIP traces. I want to look at the responses, because I want to look at the response, because if I get a 400, that says there's a client. Who's the client? The device that sends the request. Remember, somebody has to send a request in SIP. So if you're trying to make a phone call, you're going to send an invite. You must get a final response. If you get a 400 level response, client error. The client is the one that sent the request. So I want to look at that trace and find out just what type of error is it. Then, if I get a 500 response, well, that's a different category. That's a server error. The server is the one sending out the response. So just without even knowing exactly what the response is, just the category helps me determine, is the issue coming from the client side or the server side? Very helpful indeed. 600s, of course, are global failures. No device can fulfill your request. Maybe someone's set out to do not disturb, or they just don't want any calls. Now, this is crucial. We see a call set up. Hold on. You start playing with animations and you just go wild. So we're going to look at a call setup, and it's just going to go. But when you make a call, the object coming in obviously does not need to be SIP. It pretty much is these days, but it doesn't have to be. Just some call request. But if it is SIP, keep in mind, you're going to speak SIP between these two. One guy would send an invite, the other one would send a final response, and then you will ACK it. Every SIP call, someone sends a request, you get a final response, you have to acknowledge it. Even if the final response is negative, you get a 500 response, you're still going to acknowledge it. So they're going to have their own transactions and dialogue. Who's the server? The one sending the response. But as this goes, notice this guy is also going to send a request. I mean, no one's calling the server. You don't pick up your phone and call call manager. Hey man, how's it going? That doesn't happen. So you're calling Call Manager because it knows how to route your call. Therefore, you're the client, it's the server. But then what? Well, then it routes your call. It's the client. And the server responds. And then this object. So each side goes through this. And depending on where you pull your SIP trace, you're going to see, depending on if you pull your trace on your computer, you would see this. If you pull your trace in Call Manager, you're going to see this. If you pull your trace here, you're going to see this. And this, it depends which object. So keep that in mind. And then it's just going to go. So you get the invite. Hey, I got it. I'm working on it. They're ringing. Okay, I'll ring. You get the okay and the ACK. This is what normal looks like. So when there's a call, you'll see this 100% of the time. Somebody sends out the invite request. Yeah, I'm working on it. Oh, it's ringing. Success, they answered. Right on. There you go. That's what you'll see. Now, if something doesn't work, you're still going to see this, but it's not going to be a 200. It's going to be a 4, 5, or 6. And you're still going to ACK it. So knowing what normal is helps us. Then RTP flows, right? The media. Now, that's why you don't test a SIP call just by ringing, because that's just the SIP. You want to actually go through the old, do you hear me now? That means RTP is working. Now, knowing how SIP works, we're going to take a look at some examples on real routers, real cubes, and we'll use that with AI. Someone hangs up, whoever hangs up sends the buy request, and you get it. Every SIP request must get a final response. Must. So the buys are not ACKed. You just send a buy request, you get a 200 okay. Okay. By the way, if you're interested in call statistics, typically, if you look at the buy request and the okay, both sides are going to report their metrics. Delay, loss, jitter, packet law, delay, jitter, loss. Any other statistics can be gleaned from examining those. All right, so we can use AI to know more about any of that, or any of the information within there. Now, what's interesting about all of those requests, I know what I wanted to show you that I didn't. Let me back up, push that button. See SIP requests here? If I press this, this is going to take me to HTTP requests. And I just wanted to point out that they're the same. These are HTTP responses. 100, 200. These are HTTP messages. So they're the same, basically, very similar to SIP. Client error with HTTP. Server error. So these are, SIP has more, but this is where SIP comes from. And this is really helpful because I'll tell you one other thing that uses these, REST APIs. Not part of our discussion today, but APIs are how computers communicate with one another. You're going to find same thing. REST uses HTTP. Hey, here's some instructions. Oh, here's my response. That looks a lot like HTTP, which is a lot like SIP, which makes learning all of that a little more palatable, a little easier. I just wanted to point out that that is HTTP and SIP. Okay, so I'll tear down. We're going to learn with AI. We can examine a variety of information. Now, if we peel open a SIP invite, this is what we see. It's made up of headers. And again, there's a lot of headers. Yeah, I've highlighted the different colors, but every SIP request, just like HTTP, has a request made up of headers that we can read, which differentiates it from H323. Can't read that stuff. SIP, you can read it in plain English. Oh, let's see, I've got, what type of request is it? It's an invite request. How did it get to be here? Where did it come from? Well, it's the via header. That's how it came from 10.3.5.15. Oh, okay. Using TCP version SIP, got it. Who's it from? What's the caller ID? Where's it going to? Etc. The tag, the call ID, very important. I'll try to show you one of these. If we have this, we can see every SIP message involved in this call because they're all, whoever starts the call creates a call ID and then the server responds. They're every back and forth. Call earlier, the ladder I showed you with all the SIP messages, they all have the same call ID. So if you can find one of those, you can use that to search all of the SIP. So again, this is more of that same invite if we were to just keep reading it. So there's a lot of headers. Do you have to know what all of these mean? No, but some of them are important and you may want to know what some of them do. How do you do that? You can always use AI. You can just take a screenshot of something and say, well, I need to know what these two headers do. Okay, pop it. Open up your AI. Put it in and say, explain these two identity headers. Like, what are they? And then the little picture that I just took of those, it will help explain those. Now, I also noticed that sometimes with the new Chat 5, it's slower, but it is what it is. So I have to wait sometimes. But seems to do more thinking. But it will tell us. So if, again, what are some of these headers? They're going to become important. They're always important because they're utilized extensively. And there's going to be scenarios where you might have to modify these headers. I know when you use Webex, you have to decide if you're even going to use the asserted identity header. Well, what is it? Great way to learn, saving you from having to go to Google to search or documentation. Now, very helpful. All right, so this is the response. Everything, most of the response is just copied from the request. So if you look at a response, this kind of threw me when I first figured this out. I was like, hey, how come the response has the same from, to, via, like all of this stuff? It's just copied. Yes, it is. It's all copied from the request. So basically, you're getting the type of response and who is sending it. And that's typically about the only thing that's new in a response, for the most part. Not a lot, because everything else is just copied. Here's your 100, made up of headers. Now, the reason I'm saying that is this is a call that I took from here's an invite from a Unified Communications Manager SIP trunk going to a router. Just there's your invite. There it is. Maybe 20 headers. There's the response. Here's an invite that came from Webex. A lot more information. So that's partly why, hey, there's new stuff. I've learned things with SIP, but there's more. Webex puts all kinds of things in there. What does this do? What do I need to know about this? Again, great resource. ChatGPT or any AI, you can copy, paste, put it in and say, explain this to me. What does this mean? And then you can decide, what does hold, talk, mute, unmute mean for allowed events? Or received info. There's a new header that we hadn't seen before. So sometimes when I'm working and I will come across things, I want to just pop it in and find out. Like, what is that? Do I need to know? Why does it say this under user agent or what have you? So variety of, I'm going to pop through these, variety of headers. Now, the other thing that's important, and I'm going to demonstrate how with Webex, they've taken it up to 11. The third thing we need to know about SIP, somebody sends a request, the other side sends a response every time. But if you're going to have a phone call, you have to figure out the media. Hey, I want to invite you. Great. To what? A call. What kind of call? The kind where we talk. Yeah, but like what kind? What codec are we going to use? See, it used to be pretty simple. Oh, codec. You want to know what codec? You want to know about DTMF? Sure, I'll tell you that. And then you pick the option. But I'm going to show you how Webex changes that. Somebody has to send the SDP. This is the offer. It's not a negotiation. Somebody is offering media. SIP delayed offer is the default for Unified Communications Manager. So when a CUCM server sends out a request, it does not include the SDP. It's kind of like asking your significant other about dinner. Hey, where do you want to go out for dinner? Oh, I don't know. Where would you like to go? Wherever you would. I mean, I don't know. You pick. No, I'm okay. Very passive. That's delayed offer. Providers do not like that. Instead, they prefer, often, not everyone is the same, but oftentimes they would like to use early offer, and they want you to make that change. So you got to go into your SIP trunk, go into your cube, go into your SIP devices and change this. Early offer is when it's when you walk in and say, okay, grab your shoes, we're going out to eat, you're going to have the steak, be in the car in 2 minutes. Let's go. Early offer, the SDP is pushed out by the initiator. Very confident. I would like to have a call, and here are the codecs that I support. Pick one. So does it matter who does this? Sometimes it does, yes. If you send this information, the other side immediately knows how to communicate with you. We'll take a look at the SDP. But it says, here's the codec I support, here's the port I use, here's the IP address of where to send the RTP media, everything you need. And then the other side immediately knows that, especially if they have bad news. Imagine that they have to tell you the call can't be completed. By sending this right away, they don't need to query. They can just say, the number you dialed is not valid. And they did not have to accept the call. Contrast that to delayed offer. Delayed offer, you send an invite. The other side is like, I don't know what kind of codec is it? I don't know. What port? No idea. Really? Well, I guess we have to then be the ones to send the SDP by answering and accepting the call and charging them for this. So now they had to accept the call so they could send an offer to you, of which now the answer comes in the acknowledgement, and now the customer is being billed. Then, I'm sorry, the number you dialed is not available. Please try your call later. Darn it. So this can be a hindrance. Early offer avoids that. All I want you to really pay attention to is the SDP must be sent back and forth with every SIP call. Now, here is what an SDP looks like on a Unified Communications Manager going to a cube. So if you have a CUCM server, and we do all kinds of these traces in class, so many of these, but if you have a CUCM server and you have a cube out here, and you send a SIP message, an invite, an SDP, this is from a trace. There you go. This is the trace. And it's showing you out of all of this, what's important is this is where the media is coming from. So whoever this is going to get the media. If it's your phone, then that IP address would be there. And you would see that. And it tells the other side, send the RTP to that. Now, this device is actually going to get the RTP. That's the IP address where the media is going. And then this is the media itself. So this is the offer. SDP, that's the thing to pay attention to, is the M line. Because it's saying, hey man, I speak 0. Yeah, what is that? That's what the A's explain. All of the A's explain this. Just keep reading. So 0 is postcode modulation mu law, which is G711 mu law, North America, Japan. 18, G729, low bandwidth. Oh, so I'm giving you two options. Pick one. 101 are telephony events. These are digits. If you press any digit 0 to 16, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, star pound, A, B, C, D. If you press those digits, I will send a telephony event to you, and it will be marked 101. So a packet will be sent to you that has 101 inside of it, and if you look in there, I will tell you what digit was pressed. He's offering this to you as our two codecs, pick one, and comfort noise. Comfort noise is if you're on the phone and it's silent, you can still tell somebody's there. They didn't hang up. You can differentiate. It's comfort noise. It's a little background noise. Then that's an offer. And then 20, packet time 20 means 20 milliseconds. There are 20 milliseconds in 1 second. So 20 times 50 equals 1,000. There's 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. So what this is it's an offer to send 50 packets a second. Each packet has 20 milliseconds of time. I'll send you 50 a second. So that's our packetization rate. Again, explaining exactly how the RTP session is going to go. This is pretty clear, pretty nice. Once you see there's only 2 codecs, a DTMF offer, comfort noise, and we're going to do 20 milliseconds. What could be? And then you see this is half. This is only half of a Webex SDP. If you look at a Webex call trace, this is what you see, half. So now this is back to the learning. What in the world is this? That's what I did. I took a snapshot of this, put it into AI, and went through every line and said, explain each of these, because I want to know. And then I took notes and wrote them all down. What do each of these mean? Because now you're getting the offer. I mean, this is the SDP in a typical Webex call. So many of these are codecs, Opus, G722, G711, G729, Internet Low Bandwidth Codec, but there are also other features to help ensure quality of service. And this is only half of the SDP in Webex. Boom. So very helpful. Now, again, you can copy and paste any of these, put them in. Anything you need to know, anything you need to know. Slideshow. How about resume slideshow? You can pop those suckers in, and then it will give you more information about. Okay. So this is what's going on with SIP. Let's take a look at some scenarios of getting that information and then using AI to help us. So learning more about any of those, AI is a great tool for that. Let's take a look at troubleshooting. Now, I've got a couple scenarios that I want to go through now that we're on the same page of what we're working with. Okay, so here I've got a phone. Basically, I've got this situation. This is what I've got set up here. Same thing you'll build in class. It's the same concept, the same setup. You've got a unified communications manager. You've got a cube. And then you have a SIP trunk. And you want to be able to make a call from, I believe this is 4001. And you want to be able to call out to the cube. And then the cube connects you to the public switched telephone network where you can call local, long distance, emergency, international. So there's a phone out here that has all of those lines. Well, in order to do that, you have a SIP trunk, you have a cube, and then we want to be able to pass calls through. Problem is they're failing. So when we pick up the phone and we dial some number, like just even 911, we would expect it to go to our cube and ring the emergency line. If I dial 91 followed by any 10 digits, just any 10 digits, goes in, goes out to SIP trunk. The cube, we build inbound dial peers, we build outbound dial peers, we send it to the PSTN, and it should ring the long distance line. But that's failing. So what do you do when it fails? Okay, well, that's not supposed to happen. So the idea is, okay, now what? Well, we may want to, you can go into Unified Communications Manager and verify it's sending it out properly. We might want to do a trace. So one of the things that could use AI for is, how do we do? Provide the CLI, the Cisco CUCM CLI to perform a call trace. So it'll tell us how to set up a call trace. And it'll give us the commands. We could go in and create a utils trace. First, we have to turn it on right there. You want to capture a call, set it for 5 minutes. So we're going to turn it on, 5-minute trace, make the call, then we can download the file. Very useful to be able to troubleshoot when you're having difficulties and you're like, well, how do I look at the actual call? You could take a look at the route plan report. But if you want to be able to get a trace, AI can show you the commands. So the idea is I would dial one of these numbers. It would translate it. Take this call, drop the 9, yes, add a plus. So now the new number is going to get rid of the 9 and have a plus. Those of you that do plus dialing will understand. But that's what it's going to look like, plus the number. And you go back to the route plan. And then anything that has a plus, the / is telling call manager that this is actually a plus. So it's not a wildcard. So every time you start with the plus, you have to do / to say, okay, this is actually a plus and anything, plus anything. Plus anything goes to the route list. So anything that starts with plus is going to go to the SIP trunk, which is going to go to the cube. Fine. Now, a lot of times you can just run the trace on the cube. You can log into the cube, run the trace, do a debug. But if you don't have access to the cube, you might want to run a trace quickly here. So let's do that. Let's log in to the Unified Communications Manager and SSH. And then we'll run those commands from AI. We'll run a trace, and then we'll take a look at them. Now, when you run a trace, you can run a call trace, or you can also run a network trace for Wireshark. Now, personally, I'm a big Wireshark fan, but that's because I had to learn a few things. Until I learned a few things, I didn't understand Wireshark. I didn't use it. I was like, man, I can't even read it. But then I learned a few things, and now it's my favorite, one of my absolute favorite tools. So you can run a trace for calls and Wireshark. Let me show you. AI said, here are the commands. So let's go. In fact, I actually think I have a copy of them just for this purpose, to save us. But I can assure you these work because I've done them many times. And it says right here, do a utils trace, collect, CUCM collab, 5 minutes. Okay, so let's copy that. And then let's go back to this, pop it in. Now, we have a trace. All right, let's go back and regenerate our scenario. Again, I'm just trying to make a call to the outside, just any number. Any 10-digit number. Okay. Now, anytime I can go back and turn off that trace, plus enter to stop. Notice it says, okay, we just created 4 records for you. So some of these, we can view them. If you want to view this, it's going to be just a massive file of, but you certainly can. And again, how you could ask AI. You could say, how do I view these? And it will tell you. One of the things I love about is you can just do this. Take a snapshot of it. Go to AI. I use a snapshot for almost everything. And just say, how do I get access or view these or whatever you want? And it'll tell you. So as a tool, right? It's open. I'm doing something. I'm like, well, now what do I? Oh, hold on. Let me just take a snapshot of this, put it in AI, and say, it will help me. And say, oh, okay, you want to do these. Oh, thank you. Great. Very helpful. And so we can get them, which is what we're going to do. You can open them if you want to peek at them. We're actually going to download them. I'm just going to download them. And so I would just copy and paste that right in. Now, because I'm on a guacamole through virtual machine, it's not as easy as it looks. I can't just copy and paste as I would on my computer. So let me move this out of the way. Okay. That's why I have these already. So I don't have to, but on my computer, I just copy and paste. So that's what we want. We want to grab that. And we'll put that in. That's the same command AI gave me. It is just now, this is going to ask me a series of questions down at the bottom. Do you want to do this? Yes. Now, I went and downloaded a SFTP, SolarWinds free SFTP. That's all. Just go to SolarWinds SFTP, just installed it. And then it's this guy. It's this computer here that we're on. It's a very simple program. Created a username, created a password in the SFTP, very, very simple. And then there's my directory, and then it will download it. Okay, so now that is, if I go look, just go to your C drive, go into where your SFTP root is, and there's the file that I just downloaded. Now, it's going to be, you have to have a way of, so now you need to install RTMT, so you can read it, because if you click on it, it's going to have no idea how to, or you could use Cisco's free Translator X, which is a great tool that you can use to read, drag and drop, but read call traces. And so you can just drag this in there, and then it shows you. But now it's showing you everything, because it collected all kinds of stuff. So part of the reason you're getting so much, or all these OK and notify, is because of that SIP phone. It sends these over and over and over, like it's a keep alive. So the actual call itself, there's the invite. And so remember, if you click on, you know that the call is going to have an invite. I only made one call in my trace. You know that there's the invite. So because of that, if I go down here to the call ID, remember, every message in that is going to share the same call ID. So then let's filter. Okay, now this is the call. And what I like about this is this, I can't make it bigger. I'm sorry, generate diagram, but then you get this. I guess I could take a snapshot of it and then open that up. Let me try that. So we have the call manager sending a message to the cube. He sends an invite, the cube's trying, and then the cube says, you dialed the wrong 404, and he acts it. So we know that, but we can see that, 404, and then we can go in here and click, and if we scroll down, you could actually find the 404, or the number we sent. I know it's very small, but again, knowing that this is going to be there, it's just getting access to the SIP. Who's the call to? Oh, well, it's plus 1616. Okay, well, let's look at the 404. 2. So this is what we sent, this number to the router, and then the router wrote back saying, I don't have that. In fact, if you look, it says no matching dial peer. Look at that. So in the actual, this right here is the, this is the response. And it says 404, this is the number you dialed. And this is the response. Here's the call, the cause, no matching dial pair. So basically, can be very helpful. It's just a and if again, you could copy and paste that in AI. What does this mean? Why would I say that? What are 3 things I could troubleshoot? What I wanted to show you is using AI as a way to get at the call trace. I couldn't remember how to do a call trace inside of Call Manager, and then very quickly, I was like, oh, okay, you just got to do one of these. Boom, and then you can get a call trace. Very helpful. Something else you could do that I like is not only a call trace, but if you want to see the data itself, you can do a packet capture. Same concept, but now you're capturing packets. So now we can go in and do a packet capture. And then again, generate the same call, and then we can use Wireshark. I like to use Wireshark, but I used AI to find out how to run this. Like these commands you're seeing are me using AI to say, how do you do it? Okay. And so again, can be useful just for learning more about using more Call Manager. And then you can download the and then when you're done, Control C, done. And then again, it's telling you the command to get it. It doesn't tell you the command. So then you just snapshot it. Like, what do I do? How do I get this? And it will tell you. How do you get it? And then it'll pop that back in. So I have that. And it is, I like to use these. To view it, it tells you, you can see all your captures. You can just go to File List. Again, because I asked AI, I'm just saving time. And then it says you got one file there, and that's the name of it. Okay, well, now I need that. So let me get it. And take screenshots, ask it. It's one of my favorite things using command lines is when I do something and I get an error, I take a screenshot of it, paste it in, and say, now what? And it'll help you. Okay, so we put that in there, same thing. And then this is going to be the packet capture, which can be used for anything, not just a phone call, but anything you want to see going on to and from Call Manager. You want to look at your LDP synchronization, you can do that. You want to look anything you can think of. You can a packet capture. It's going to show every packet, every phone call. You would record calls. If people were making calls, you would record it. And then you could go in there. And then this one is going to be a Wireshark capture. Now, I didn't like Wireshark. Let me see if I have a profile. Okay, when I first log into Wireshark, this is what I see. And I'll show you very briefly that if you go to Edit, Preferences, you can change this. I don't need 3 windows. These are my packets. This is the window on the left down here is what's in the packet. And then over here is just hexadecimal. I don't need this. This doesn't mean anything to me. So number 1, I want to change a few things. I'm going to go down to Edit, Preferences. And once I did this, then I started liking Wireshark. And then columns, fonts, and layouts. Customize it. First, layouts. First thing I do is get rid of that 3rd window. I don't need it. Gone. Then I go to fonts, and I turn it up so that my eyes can actually see what I'm doing. Rather than 10, I go to 18 or 16 or whatever. And then I spend all day changing the colors. But now I can read it. Now I can read it. And then you can change whatever, like you want ARP to be or EIGRP to be in a certain color. Then you could go to View, Coloring Rules, and then make a rule. It says, okay, what's the name of the rule? Whatever you want. And then if I see this, lowercase, this is the actual filter. And this is another. If I see EIGRP, what color? And then you can change the background so that it shows up a certain color. And you can do this with anything. So my point is, once I started making Wireshark more friendly, then perfect. So you're like, oh, okay, what's that? There's a trillion filters with Wireshark. And there's another use of AI all the time. So I go, oh, okay, provide a list of SIP filters for Wireshark. Top 10 or also, I think EIGRP is just EIGRP. I'm not sure why that didn't work. I'd have to play with it. But I'm sure it's just EIGRP. Also like that it can figure out if you're spelling or when you type. Never had any problem. Never goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. So now it's going to provide a ton of filters. Again, you copy paste this, you can put this in, and anything you want. You want look for invites, there, take that filter. So you can then add those. And then it will show you any of those. And then if you want to save this filter so that you don't have to remember it, you can always just, so this is showing me the invites, but then you can always just add a little plus over here and then name your filter, SIP invite, provide the actual filter. There it is. Click OK. Now it's just got a little button. So if you exit out of this and you're looking at everything, you can just click SIP invite and it'll show you the SIP invites. Another cool thing about this is a capture of all the calls. So you can just do telephony, VoIP, and it'll show you. And so it'll show you both directions. I can prepare filter, it'll show me just that call. I can say flow sequence, it'll show me a diagram of it. So now you get a call coming in, 100, 404, ACK. What about the other one? Sends out the invite, gets a 100. So call manager is the middleman in this scenario. The phone comes in. This is the phone side. Phone sends it in, gives them a whole bunch of different codecs, and then call manager then says, okay, let me pass it to that guy. So then he sends the invite, gets a 404. So you can see both sides of this. It's just remembering where you're at. Again, all I did is just pop into telephony, VoIP. If you do the invites, you'll see both invites, the one that was received and the one that was sent. Look at the source destination. You'll see that's the phone sending the SDP. If you want to read it, come down here. To me, it's easier it's easy to read these. I like to read the SIP messages. You can read the headers, the via, the from, the to, the body. Okay, now again, any of these, ChatGPT, take a picture, ask, what does this mean? What's going on? What's the problem? So there's Wireshark. Now let's take a look at Webex. Okay, Webex. Here I have a cube that I set up. With Webex, if you want to, let me just give you the quick little rundown briefly, very briefly. If you want, because Webex is a different beast altogether. But with Webex, if you have a, Webex is out here. And if you have a call manager, if you have an on-prem, or if you have an on-prem, and you want Webex phones that register to Webex to be able to call phones that register to CUCM, you have to have a local gateway. You have to have a cube, a SIP cube. And you have to build this connection. You have to go to the cube and build this relationship and build this relationship. So why, and then I'm going to make a call and run a trace on that. Now, why am I telling you this? Because when you learn SIP, you then start working with a new product and it takes everything to the next level. And that's where AI is so useful. What does this mean? How do I configure this for a learning tool, for a troubleshooting tool? Because it takes things to the next level. If the configuration for Webex is this. If I show you the Webex configs, this is the configuration of the Webex, of the local gateway. So we have to configure this. In fact, I have the commands. Let me just show you the commands. These are the commands we put in. These are the commands we have to put in our router to build a cube, to be able to talk to Webex and Call Manager. And so this doesn't even have the dial peers. All of this information comes from Webex. We have to get it. We have to change this information. And so this is just getting the cube set up, no dial peers. There are no dial peers in this. It's just getting the cube set up so that it can talk to Webex. All of this is required just to talk to Webex. Then we have to come back in and use cubes, dial pairs. Then we have to come in and set up the dial pairs. And these are the dial pairs. So we have to change a few things. And so this is an extensive, this is a lot of stuff. I mean, these are the commands right here. From there to there, we have to change this in this example, but in this lab. But these are the commands to make a cube. These are all cube commands. This is not the running config. These are just cube, SIP cube. So there's a SIP ton of things in here that we have to learn and know about. And I don't have to tell you or demonstrate how to use AI to do that. You can break down part by part by part so that when you're troubleshooting, when you get errors, when you're debugging, when you're configuring, there's a lot here. And again, you can find documentation. The SIP cube, if you want to go look at the Cisco SIP cube documentation, it's 1,000 pages. And so you could search that, or you could use AI to help you with this. A couple other things I want to show you. If you're having difficulty logging into Webex, another learning tool with AI, let's say that I want to sign into Webex from the administrator side. Here I am, the admin.webex, and I'm having difficulty. Well, you can turn on Google Developer. You can ask AI, which I did, how do I use this? And he says, okay, you want to click network, and then you want to make sure that you have preserved log checked. Okay, thank you, AI. And then what? Well, clear your log, and then go to your website or try to sign in. So let me try to sign in as a user. And I'll show you something that for troubleshooting logins that AI helped me to do. I just needed my username and password. Okay, you start to sign in. You put in your password. Let me just put in Cisco, wrong password. Okay. All right, so I get this, and I'm having difficulty signing in. AI, if you can ask it, it will tell you, okay, what you want to do now is download this, save it somewhere. Okay, then you can open up the Google HTTP Archive Analyzer. Choose your file. Go download the one that I just did. Let me find the one. Which one is it? Let me find it. And my point is, this will help you with, I want to show you another tool that I use a lot. There it is. Okay. So now this pops in. And you're like, okay, great. What's going on here? It allows you to see every request and then the response in the information. It will show you what's going on with your HTTP. Whatever you recorded with Developer, you can download that and then open this, and it will let you look at every request and response and read through it and see, like, okay, and then filter exactly what's going on. Now, you're stuck. How do I use it? Take a screenshot. Like, what do I do with this? I'm using this new tool, and I need to know how to use it. How do I use this tool to troubleshoot logins in Webex Calling? Oh, you got to paste the picture. Oh, no, I did. I didn't realize. I thought I didn't do that. Okay. Provide step by step. And so it can work that way, and it will. It will help you with whatever you're in doing that. So very useful when learning new tools that you're going to encounter. Help you learn, like, why when I sign into Webex, are there so many JavaScripts that are being loaded? So many, like, what are .css, what are JavaScripts? Why are there so many? You can take a screenshot of this and paste it. Anything you're on, you can take a screenshot of, and it will help you with that. Another couple things I like to do briefly before we go, I want to show you 3 more things. Building. Let's say that I need to get into my, my device. Oh, I got to change VPNs here, which I can do. No problem. So I use AI a lot for building commands, a variety, building configs, building. So let's say I'm in and I need to know how to, I used to do these by hand. I used to log into my VMs in ESXi, and I used to manually configure for your class. I snapshot them, restart them, turn them on. And so I would do that. And I got another thing to show you while that's going. So I might as well just do both. Let's turn off this. Let's go to YouTube. I don't need the incognito. Let me go back to my normal login. There. So we're going to be starting. There's a video I made, but what I want to show you is if you go down, I never can find it. More. There'll be a transcript right there. Show transcript. So you can go to any YouTube video, show transcript, copy. Here's a video of me kind of explaining step by step what a cube is and all the commands that go into a cube. But you can go in. So here's me copying a transcript of a YouTube video and then just pasting that in AI and saying, hey, instead of watching the video, I want the summarize this. Summarize this info for a Cisco admin new to cubes, highlight commands and their purpose. Whatever I need, I just can have him summarize it. And you can just paste the whole thing in and he'll do that. So YouTube videos, summarize, it'll go through that process. What I wanted to show you though was this. So I used to do this by hand. And what I learned is that I can ask AI to create PowerShell. I had no idea how much PowerShell, how powerful it is. And so if I needed to snapshot these and turn them all on and turn them off, I used to right click to each one of them and literally take a snapshot, go, start it, stop it, snapshot, start, stop. And then I learned that I could actually put in I could ask AI to do it. And it will, you could create a script, something like this. Hey, I need you to go to this IP address with this username. I'll add my password later. I need to, and you can pop that in. I need to turn these back to my last snapshot. And I put in the names of the VMs. And you can go to AI. I go to AI. We're going to drop off here in just a second. But I did want to show you that it did summarize in plain terms. That whole video provided the commands. That's summarization of a YouTube video. And here is me putting in my request to snapshot these VMs in a PowerShell. And it will create a PowerShell script that I can use to paste into PowerShell to do that. And it will snapshot or start or move or clone or whatever. And I can use that with any CLI, not just PowerShell, but Ansible or Ubuntu if I'm learning, or router, a Cisco router. There's many devices that we use CLI that we can use this as a tool to help us. Don't sleep on the snapshot. If you get stuck configuring something, take a snapshot. Put it in AI and it will help you. All right, that's the hour. So hopefully I've had an opportunity to walk through SIP, show you how I use AI in my day-to-day life to learn, to build, and even to troubleshoot. And it provided some food for thought. We would love to see you in our SIP class, where this is essentially we spend a week with this technology, using this technology, building it from the ground up to help make you more effective, more confident in your day-to-day technological environment. Again, thank you for participating. I'm glad you were here and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you all in our regular classes. And don't forget to use our promo code, and also that this expires at end of the year, okay? December 31st, 2031. Okay, thank you so much.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.